Hey everybody, welcome. News Now Wyoming. Gonna bring you local news here in Laramie County where I do live. This video is disturbing, so if you have a weak stomach, no, it's not that bad. It's just cops being cops. Couple deputies acting like city cops. So let's just watch this, see what happens. Then we'll discuss the lawsuit.
Sheriff's Office. Hey, how you doing? Deputy Gillott with the Sheriff's Department. Yeah. On Deputy Lee. Is Devin here?
Yeah, he's here.
Do you mind if we speak to him real quick? He's not in any trouble. We just want to check on his welfare.
Okay. Yeah.
What's that? Who? Somebody's just walked that way.
So they're out here for a welfare check.
They were walking up the street. Hey, how you doing?
Good,
So I got a call from the estranged wife, estranged girlfriend.
yeah, my ex-wife.
Okay, so she's concerned that you're harming yourself, and you sent her an email earlier.
Yeah, I had sent her something. It wasn't earlier. It was, I think it was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Okay.
I had been drinking and was just kind of not in a good mood.
Okay.
Don't talk to the cops, you guys.
Fine. I didn't even realize I had sent it. I saw that I sent her the email.
Alright. Do me a favor. Just let me have a look at your arms.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Alright.
Look at it.
Alright.
Good.
I know you're just here.
I'm just here to make sure.
But I'm good.
2 days ago doesn't concern me, okay, bro? Because 2
No,
days ago you stood here talking to me.
Yeah.
So I just want to look. If they're old, I'm gonna get in my car and leave you alone.
And that's okay. I don't want to say anything, and I don't need to.
Yes, you actually have to.
No.
At this point.
No,
Because right now, based on everything, we could take you to the hospital at this moment.
No, that's okay. But
Okay, go ahead.
you guys can go back to the
Let's
car.
Don't fall.
Don't.
Get off me. I don't have to use.
So they're so concerned it took them 2 days to respond.
We don't have any water.
Ma'am, step back.
Hey, get off my arm.
Get right.
It's not.
Stop!
So there's the taser.
You stop!
Stay away. Stay away.
Mom,
Just stay back.
Mom, are you okay?
Stop.
What? Okay. Yeah.
We're the government, we're here to help. Yep, remember that. We're the government, we're here to help. Thanks for the help, you guys.
Hey. Mom, don't do anything. Hey. Look, it's my shoulder. Okay, I used to cut on my shoulder. You want to see? I'll show you. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm fine.
Will you? I'm trying to get this cord out of your way. Thanks.
Yes, I'm fine.
Here we go. This one. You got any?
So they were arrested, and she was arrested for obstruction, I believe. No matter what, all charges were dropped, of course, because it's stupid. And then we're going to discuss the lawsuit. Yes. Wyoming doesn't get too many of these that are good cases. This one, watching that, maybe 150,000 would be my estimate, is what they're going to be offered in a settlement. Good for them. take it to a jury, and Wyoming juries are not that generous. So they are, in this case with Wyoming jury, they are better off settling than taking it to a jury, in my opinion. So this is the first amended complaint. They added more people onto the case. They added the county commissioners because they oversee the deputies. That's going to get dismissed. However, they've got better insurance. We'll see. Alright, comes now. Devin Bryant, by and through undersigned counsel, hereby files his plaintiff's First Amendment complaint against the above-named defendants and demands a trial by jury to cite his claims for relief. For his claims of release against defendants, plaintiff alleges the following. Devin Bryant's claim against Ryan Lee and Jason Gillott, let's just call them stupid cops like normal, okay? Stupid deputies. Let's be more official. Claim against Ryan Lee and Jason Gillott arises under 42, 1983 in the Wyoming Governmental Claims Act. Ryan Lee and Jason Gillott violated Mr. Bryant's constitutional rights and committed torts against him when they violently ripped him out of his home and tased Mr. Bryant and his mother. He pointed the taser at her, but I didn't actually see the taser get to her. He pointed at her and said, "Get back," and she got back. But if he says that happened, I'm not going to disagree. That's for somebody else to decide. Without legal justification, under the Wyoming Governmental Claims Act, the Board of County Commissioners, the governmental entity, is liable for torts committed by its peace officers. So this was committed by stupid deputies. So that's going to fall under the Board of County Commissioners. Devin Bryant is an individual residing in Laramie County. Stupid deputy. Defendant Board of County Commissioners of Laramie County is the governmental entity that, pursuant to that statute, shall assume and pay a judgment entered against any of its public employees, in this case the Laramie County Sheriff's deputies, and shall assume and pay settlements of claims against stupid deputies, and is liable for damages resulting from tortious conduct of peace officers, stupid deputies, while acting within the scope of their duties for the Laramie County Sheriff's Office. All incidents occurred in Cheyenne, Laramie County, Wyoming. This court has personal jurisdiction over all defendants, as they all worked or had their principal place. Oh, we don't care about jurisdiction. It's a federal. It's a 1983 case, so it's got jurisdiction, and they live in Wyoming, so it's a Wyoming case, and it's federal because it's civil rights. Okay, so that's all the jurisdiction. Venue is perfect because, yeah. Facts. On January 27, 2020, Crystal Bryant called the Laramie County Sheriff's Office to report that her estranged husband, Devin Bryant, had sent her an email earlier that day stating that he had cut himself and she was worried about him. So 2 days before, they are so worried about his health and safety that they waited 2 days to show up to investigate. So, yeah, okay. But no, this is 9 hours, so he said it was 2 days, okay. So approximately 9 hours after the email had been sent from Mr. Bryant to his estranged wife at 2:44 in the morning, deputies Jason Gillott and Ryan Lee of the Laramie County Sheriff's Department went to his place of residence for a welfare check. When did she read it? She read it at 2:45. When did she report it? Okay, so that seems a little bit more reasonable. I thought it was 2 days, like he said, but no, factually, it's 9 hours. Okay. Upon arriving at the home and according to Bodycam footage, stupid deputy announced to the man that answered the door that he was from the sheriff's department and asked to speak with Mr. Bryant. He's not in any trouble, he assured the man. We just want to check on his welfare. The man retrieved Mr. Bryant, who had been sleeping soundly. Mr. Bryant came to the door with his mother, Shelley Bryant. They stood inside the doorway with the screen door partially open, while Deputy Gillott stood outside on the deck. Stupid deputy explained to Mr. Bryant that he had received the report from Mr. Bryant's estranged wife. He admitted he sent her an email a couple days ago because he'd been drinking and wasn't in a good mood. Then he explained to the stupid deputy, "I'm fine, I didn't even realize I sent it." He then asked Mr. Bryant to show him his arms, and he declined, to which the stupid deputy said, "Okay, alright," but Mr. Bryant then politely said he understood why he was there, to make sure he was okay, but Mr. Bryant reiterated he was okay. "I'm good," he said. He then asked to see his arms again, and Devin again declined. "I don't want to show you anything, and I don't need to." Importantly, throughout this encounter, Mr. Bryant was polite, respectful, and completely calm and articulate. Remarkably so, given the early morning hour and unannounced visit from the sheriff's deputies. Deputy Gillott, for his part, was also polite and respectful initially. It is also important to note that Mr. Bryant was in his home with his mother and his mother's boyfriend. In fact, Mr. Bryant's mother was standing in the doorway with her son during the encounter. Mr. Bryant appeared in no distress and was not a threat to anyone, including himself. Mr. Bryant had not committed a crime, nor was there any suspicion that he had committed a crime. The deputies had no warrant to search his person or the home he was in, nor did they have a reasonable suspicion or probable cause that he was committing any crime during the conversation with Mr. Bryant. Indeed, he admitted as much when he first approached the home. At this point, stupid deputy who was standing on the deck outside the home inserted himself into the conversation and said in response to Mr. Bryant declining to show his arms, "Yes, you actually have to show your arms at this point." No, I don't. Because right now, based on everything, we could take you to the hospital." But the only information the deputies had at this point was an allegation from his estranged wife, which had been rebutted by Mr. Bryant in word and demeanor. Then, without warning, Deputy Lee swung the screen door open, reached into the home while saying, "Don't resist," and grabbed Mr. Bryant's arms and shirt, attempting to rip Mr. Bryant out of his home by the very arm he was supposedly there to check the welfare of. Now, let's pause here in the video really quick. The Supreme Court has held multiple times that the only time you can enter the threshold of the home, which they did by reaching into the home, is under exigent circumstances. Now, I could see why, if they truly were concerned for his safety, but nothing they said at this point says, "Yeah, we're concerned for your safety, we are going to take you in." No, that's not what happened. So I don't see how a reasonable officer could think they had exigency to enter the home. So I do think that this is an easy case to win. I just don't think it's a high dollar amount case to win. Without question, Deputy Lee unnecessarily escalated this respectful conversation into a threatening and dangerous confrontation. Mr. Bryant, now completely taken aback and scared, said, "Get off me!" And his mother cried, "No!" and pleaded with the deputies to stop. She screamed to her boyfriend to help, while Mr. Bryant struggled to remain in his home. But Deputy Lee kept yanking on his arms and shirt. Deputy Lee yelled at Mr. Bryant's mom to stay back, and he pushed her, further escalating the confrontation. He yelled, "Get off my mom," and Deputy Gillott then entered the home, grabbing Mr. Bryant by his arms and shirt and yanking him. Together, stupid deputies violently ripped Mr. Bryant out of his home. Mr. Bryant's mom followed the deputies onto the deck, screaming, "Leave him alone." Without warning, Deputy Gillott tased Shelley Bryant. She hit the deck screaming. Then Deputy Gillott tased Mr. Bryant, despite the fact that he was already being subdued by Deputy Lee. Mr. Bryant then placed in handcuffs and arrested for resisting arrest. He was promptly taken to the Laramie County Jail, not to the hospital. So he was arrested for resisting arrest, not for any other crime. But at no time in that video, do they say you are under arrest, nor did he violate any laws. Now, if they were there to take him to the hospital, again, that's understandable, but nothing that they do shows that they are truly concerned for his welfare. And the fact that he didn't go to the hospital afterwards reinforces that statement, doesn't it? They weren't afraid that he was going to hurt himself. They knew he wasn't going to hurt himself. He was drunk texting his ex-wife or estranged wife, whatever she is to him. So they weren't truly concerned for him. And they never announced that he was under arrest for any crime. but he was arrested for resisting arrest, although they never told him he was under arrest. Okay? Writing about the encounter doesn't adequately describe it, but the body camera footage does. It shows a stunning violation of his and her rights to be secure in their persons and houses, and completely unnecessary, unreasonable, and excessive use of force, from ripping Mr. Bryant from his home to tasing both him and his mother, then arresting and incarcerating them. There's no way the deputies can assert that they were acting in his interest or to protect him, as they did the complete and exact opposite of what a reasonable officer would do if he were concerned for Mr. Bryant's well-being. Clearly, stupid deputy was motivated by his anger that he refused his commands. Contempt of cop is real, you guys. You can be arrested for contempt of cop. Do not do it. Obey. Listen and obey. Bow down at their feet, okay? Bow down. Listen and obey. Do not show contempt for cop. Deputy Lee's instantaneous fury at Mr. Bryant was shocking and deplorable. The district attorney handling the criminal charges against Mr. Bryant evidently agreed, because the charges were promptly dismissed. As a result of this incident, he sustained injuries including out-of-pocket losses and other monetary harms, impairment of reputation, personal humiliation, and mental anguish and suffering, past pain, suffering, and emotional distress, past medical expenses, and future. They injured his arms and body and greatly exacerbated previously diagnosed anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Again, you guys, if you're showing up somewhere to somebody who threatened suicide, is this the way to react? Is this really the best way that we have to show our love for our fellow human being? Is this that courtesy that we're supposed to be showing? Because everything about this is deplorable. I don't know about his other emotional stuff here, but if he truly was committing suicide, thinking about it, these cops didn't help. Claims for relief. Deprivation of constitutional rights under 1983. For this claim of relief, he incorporates the facts stated herein, which provide the basis for the claim that Ryan Lee, a deputy of the Laramie County Sheriff under color statute, person within the jurisdiction thereof, he deprived Devin Bryant of his Fourth Amendment right. Okay, so he didn't state it up here, so I'm glad they're doing it down here. To be free of unreasonable search and seizure by violently ripping him out of his home and tasing him without legal justification. This deprivation caused Mr. Bryant's injury and damages to be in an amount to be determined at trial. Punitive damages. He acted with malice, recklessness, and callous indifference, justifying, in addition to compensatory damages, punitive damages in this case. Okay, so another one for Jason Gillott, to Fourth Amendment rights again, unreasonable search and seizure by violently ripping him out of his house, liable in an action of law, again punitive damages. Negligence in regards to the county commissioners. Incorporates the facts stated herein, which claim that Ryan Lee, a peace officer, had a duty of care towards Mr. Bryant, and that Mr. Lee breached that duty by violently ripping Mr. Bryant out of his home and tasing him without legal justification, and this breach caused Mr. Bryant damages in an amount to be determined at trial. So this statute here makes it a government entity liable for damages resulting from tortious conduct. Provides that a governmental entity, in this case the Board of County Commissioners, shall assume pay a judgment entered against any of its public employees. So their insurance will pay it, of course. Negligence, Jason, Board of County Commissioners, so it's going to be the same paragraph we just read. Request for relief, a trial by jury to decide these claims, of course. Judgment against defendants for compensatory and punitive damages. in an amount consistent with the allegations contained herein to be proven at trial. His attorney fees and any other relief the court deems appropriate. So as I look at the docket here, and I am going to keep up with this, because again, this happened here in my hometown. This is a home filing. I'm very much concerned about what our deputies are doing in my county. But I also know our Wyoming juries. And I know the Wyoming population has a blind love for our police. I don't understand it. You talk to half the people on the street, and cops can't do anything wrong no matter what they do. So I do think taking this to trial on behalf of the plaintiff would be a poor choice here in Wyoming. I don't think our juries are there. God, I wish I could say otherwise. Our juries are not big on, even the ones that do win, they aren't big on big verdicts. They aren't big on rewarding the little guy. That is not what a Wyoming jury does. I do see a settlement of this. I'd be surprised if it got any more than $200,000. I'd be happy for him. Believe me, I'd be extremely happy for him. But I don't see that happening. I see a lot of these lawsuits. I read a lot of lawsuits. And I can see where the claims are at. Again, entering the home has been found by the Supreme Court to be the most extreme breaking of your civil rights. It's the extreme circumstance of it. It's nothing like getting you out of the car or anything like that. Your house is your castle. And that is the way the Supreme Court has viewed police entering your house without a warrant. And nothing in their demeanor here shows that they are concerned for his safety. So I don't see how they could successfully claim that this wasn't a right clearly established. It's extremely clearly established. Our own Court of Appeals here in our district, they've reinforced that. The Supreme Court has done it multiple times. I see a good case here, just not a high dollar case. So, sorry to anybody that wants to believe otherwise, but I review these all the time. I read these all the time. I go through these all the time. I especially pay attention to Wyoming cases, and our juries don't do that. So, taking it to a jury, I would say you would even get less than you would out of a settlement. So, this is probably going to settle. And here, do you even ask for the cop's job? God, I would just see if I could get it, but do you risk taking it to trial to get the cop's job? And no, because the jury couldn't fire the guy. And if the sheriff's office is standing behind the deputy, which I don't know, they haven't released any of that stuff. This is all new information to us. So, I mean, when did this happen again? January 27th. So yeah, it's a week ago. So this is all new. They haven't released a lot of information to the public. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground to find out what I can about these two deputies, because I am curious to know more about them. I want to know about them. I am going to be filing a public records request against both of them to find out what complaints they've had against them in the past. Wyoming does not have good public records laws, so I'm not too hopeful on what I can actually get. But we'll see. Thank you guys for joining. Have a great night.